Dogecoin holders, welcome back. Let's get into the news for the day. We're looking at some very interesting chart formations, as well as I'm going to talk about why the Dogecoin skyrocketing that we're seeing in terms of not the price action, but the market activity. Okay, so we'll talk about what's going on. I do also want to tell you my thoughts as we look at the Dogecoin chart, but thank you all for coming back and let's get into it. All right, so for those of you that are new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us. And let's talk some Dogecoin, okay? And as you guys are all following along, I do want to share with you guys one of the partners that we do have on the channel. If you are looking for a new exchange, spot and leverage traders out there, okay? Check out this promotion, 10% bonus on your first time deposit to go alongside 40% lower trading fees, no VPN KYC necessary. Make sure BTCC is right for you, where you're located, understand their terms and conditions. But if you want to start trading today, that link is down below. Check them out. Very exciting. One of the hottest promotions I've seen on the exchange front in quite some time. That is BTCC. Links are down below, okay? But as we look at the chart here for Doge, I'll share with you exactly what I'm looking at, okay? And it is fascinating to look at Dogecoin. Okay, this is a crypto that I think a lot of people are sleeping on right now. This is a top 10 cryptocurrency, okay? And if you would say that a little bit faster, you kind of would question actually where crypto is headed, I think, in a way. But as we look at it, guys, $25 billion plus, that is what the market cap is sitting at. It's very, very fascinating in my opinion, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about what's going on within all that. I am going to share with you guys my thoughts. Dogecoin, a little bit of a red day, down 2.4%, up 1.8 on the week. It has been very exciting to watch. And once again, guys, as we look over the last 30 days, this is a crypto which, if you were watching my content, and this is not financial advice, I'll never tell you guys to buy or sell crypto, all right? But we talked about it, right? Dogecoin was trading as low as 14, even at 15 cents. I said, guys, Dogecoin, this is a 16 to 17 cents crypto in terms of their value, in my personal opinion, with the opportunity and kind of a pole position, if you will, to get back above 20 cents. I think it's a crypto that's going a lot under the radar. I think it's a little bit slept on personally. And I think that's kind of why I led with it being a top 10 cryptocurrency, because I think a lot of people just forget about Dogecoin, right? But there's a lot of things coming into wings. It's more than a meme coin. And I think that if we talk actual utility for meme coins, they do have, I think, the pole position to really give you guys the utility that we all crave within crypto in terms of real world application, okay? So we're going to talk about kind of what's happening. There are a lot of whales swimming right now in the world of Dogecoin, but we see a 310% boost, actually 328% in that trading volume, okay? Reaching above $1.5 billion in just the last 24 hours. This is something where we saw a correlation within that increase following a weekend bounce, which was actually kind of interesting to note because it was in the United States, the 4th of July. Historically, I think a dull trading session, those 3 or 4 days spanning over the weekend holiday, where a lot of people just have better things to do than trade crypto, okay? But as we look into it, what actually is happening, we have to kind of look at the short term, the 50-day moving average. That has been where we saw a golden cross start to form. I will share with you guys kind of what we're looking at within that as I pull up the trading view, okay? And I will give you my commentary alongside of this as we get going, okay? And we'll zoom in kind of right where we're at right now, okay? And a lot of things that I do talk about within Dogecoin, obviously I don't have that crystal ball. This is purely speculative in nature, okay? But as we look at the charts right now, this is where we have this zone that I have set out from about 10 cents to, roughly about that 16, 17 cents. That is the zone that I think Dogecoin is comfortable at. Okay, now anything above this as we go north, we're going to start talking about that next little resistance right there at around 25, even on the upper end of the 26 cents level. And I think personally, once we get past that, that's when the whole crypto market will become bullish once again. But until then, guys, we are still stuck kind of in this consolidation. It's going to be met with some volatility, in my personal opinion. Okay, but as we zoom in on it, this has basically been the story of Doge since, dating back till the spring of 2025, which we look into March. And it's been just basically outside of the one pump that we had on May 8th that all of crypto experienced a nice little surge. This is just kind of where we're comfortable at. And I think that we will range up to 17, 18 cents. We may even get a little bit above that as we saw ticks to 19 sub 20 cents levels back on March and as well as in the early part of June. But underneath that, guys, I think that this is kind of where we're at. It's a midline of where we talk about 16 cents for Dogecoin. Right now, this is kind of the value of Doge. It's just you have to ask yourself, can Dogecoin hit 20, 25 cents, or does it have a better chance of hitting 13 cents, even down as low as 10 cents? I can make the argument that is kind of where the expectations would be, okay? If you make the bullish case for crypto, then yes, we're talking about a 20 to 25 cents crypto. If you want to make the bear case for cryptocurrency right now in the market, we're talking about a 10 to 15 cents Dogecoin, okay? So aligning that with kind of your expectations in the short term, that's kind of where you have to play it, in my personal opinion, okay? In a longer term scope, I do think that there is a world where Dogecoin gets back up into the 30 to 35 cents range. That is kind of going to be my upper end of the bar as we look back to what we saw back in November, all the way through January of 2025, in that short little 3-month time span, where you can talk about kind of what we saw in this little cluster. This is where Dogecoin was really fighting, and I think the rest of the crypto market was fighting as well to break out, kind of where we saw Bitcoin reach all-time highs as well. And then once again, when we did try to break out from that, we saw that back in May of 2025. That's where we experienced that once again, just failing to break through, okay? And I think that that's kind of where we're going to be stuck at right here at this upper end of this zone that I did talk about, where Dogecoin is going to be basically trading between 15 and 17 cents. And if you're bullish, anything below 15 cents, that's where I would consider adding. Also, anything above that 17 cents is where we got to have that discussion as well, okay? But that's kind of where we're looking at it. That's just my personal viewpoints on Dogecoin. Some of the numbers behind this as we looked at that golden cross, and you can see it kind of as we zoom in on the charts. And that's kind of what we're looking at right here, okay? So that is when the 50 and the 200-day moving average did cross over. You can see that right now. And normally that does kind of precede not just volume surging, but also that's where we're going to see a lot of expectations that does usually precede a bounce. If we were going to see Dogecoin break out from here, that's kind of what we're looking at, okay? The open interest in the last 24 hours has hit $2+ billion, a significant increase. A lot of the Dogecoin leverage that we are seeing there in terms of the directional bets. So that's something to keep in mind. The one thing that I'll tell you though, for anybody out there trading leverage and understanding kind of what that's all about, is we do have to talk about the prospects of the fact that the volatility within the macro, okay? If interest rates stay the same, if we get a little bit hawkish comments from the Fed, if we do get conflict in the Middle East, we get tariff concerns increasing, those are all things that can weigh down the crypto market and keep Dogecoin's price at bay, okay? But as we talked about the golden cross, also I did want to share the double bottom that has continued to form, all right, as we look for rebound, as whales continue to accumulate, all right? So not just the open interest, but also holders between 1 million and 10 million tokens now hold over 10.5 billion, up from 10.32 billion Doge that we saw back in February. So that number is climbing, all right? And as we see the whale count continue to grow, that's a very bullish sign that we get. And I think meme coins is very much easier to pick out that directionality of whale movement more so than alts and Bitcoin as well. So that's kind of where we're at. I think that as we look into more so, the one thing that I think you do want to keep an eye on is what happens with Elon Musk, right? The narrative here as the Doge father, coming out with that narrative within the American Party that he is creating. We'll see kind of what happens with that. But anytime Elon Musk can stick his name into the ring when we want to talk Dogecoin, and if he does bring up Doge in some form or fashion, that's something that obviously we could get a little short-term buy the rumor, sell the news event on the heels of what Musk decides to say. Okay, so that's some of the technicals, some of the macro, also some of my thoughts moving forward with how I'm approaching my Doge. So I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts into the evening. Hope you all are doing well. Before we get out of here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you do like Dogecoin content, follow me here on YouTube and on X, and appreciate you all watching. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.